Alright guys, so welcome to week 7 video notes. So you guys are continuing working on polynomials. So what I'm going to do first is review a little bit of how to classify polynomials, and then go from adding and subtracting. My understanding is that you guys are still going to be practicing adding and subtracting. Next week is multiplying, so next week I'll cover one with multiplying. Now a quick reminder that you guys do not have to copy down these notes. If you guys are taking notes in your regular classroom, just turn those in and you will get full points. As long as I know that you're working on this material, I'll give you your points for your points accordingly. All right. So and if you like these reviews, please go ahead and use them. So let's start. So classifying polynomials. So there are two ways you can classify them. One is by the degree, and one is by the number of two, or two is by the number of terms. In order to find the degree, it's really easy. You look at each term and look for the variable with the largest exponent. The exponent is your degree. So let's just go through all these and find the degrees. So remember, a term is everything that's getting added or separated by getting a subtraction or a plus. So yeah, there's a plus, and a minus. These are the terms in between. It's 4p squared, 2p squared, and so forth. Look for the variable, the p, that has the biggest exponent. That p has a biggest exponent because it's a 3. That means that this is a third degree. As simple as that. Nothing too much about it. Now notice that you have two terms here. Look for the variable with the biggest exponent. There's only one variable. Its exponent is a 4. That means that this is a fourth degree. Notice that this one has three terms. Look for the variable with the biggest degree. Here's the variable. The biggest degree is 2. That means it is a second degree. And notice that this one only has one term. There's not even a variable present. So if it's not there, it's just a 0 degree. Two terms right over here. Notice that you have a variable, but there's no exponent. The exponent then is a 1. This is a first degree. So keep in mind the difference. Notice that here we don't even have a variable. If you don't have a variable, it's a 0 degree, also known as a constant. And then notice here when you do have a variable but not written, it's a 1, so that means it's a first degree. Notice that this one has one term. You have a variable, the biggest degree is a 2, so that means that it is a second degree. Now let's start talking about how we classify them for the number of terms. Now, we know what a term is. If there is one term, it's a monomial. If it's 2, it's a binomial. 3 is a trinomial. 4 or more is a polynomial. So notice this one has 1, 2, 3, 4. That is a third degree polynomial. 1, 2, that's two terms. That means that it's a fourth degree binomial. 3 degrees would be a trinomial. So this would be a second degree trinomial. A no degree, that's a 0 degree, so that's usually just called a constant. So that means that you are pretty much there. Or sorry, first degree would be a monomial. Almost messed up there. Almost. Now this one has 2 degrees, so that means it's a binomial. This one has 1 degree, so it's a monomial. So you'll notice that when you take it step by step, you pretty much come up with this way of describing it. This guy would be a first degree monomial, this one would be a second degree monomial, and so forth and so forth. So as long as you break it apart, understand how to know the degree and the number of terms, you'll be golden. Alright, so that's how we classify them. You're also going to be asked to add or subtract them. Now remember that when you're adding two polynomials, you're always going to have them in parentheses. If there is something to distribute and just drop the parentheses. Notice that there's nothing to distribute here, so what I like to do is just rewrite it over without parentheses. Notice that in front of these parentheses there's a positive, but remember, when you distribute a positive, does anything change? No. So I'm just going to really just ignore it and then just write it down. And now I'm going to combine the terms that I can combine. The only ones you can combine are the ones with the variables with the exact same exponent. So see how we have this first term of y squared? You can only combine it the ones with the y squared. 3y squared minus y squared is 2y squared. I like to cross them out afterwards. Notice our next term is a negative 4y. Is there another term with just a y? Yep, it's right there. Negative 4y plus y is a negative 3y. And then notice we're just left with a 1 minus 2, which is a negative 1. And that is it. That's how you add and subtract them. All right, very next one. Nothing to distribute here, so I'm just going to rewrite it over. Notice there is something distributed and it's a negative. When you distribute a negative, all it does is change each term sign. A negative is a positive 3m squared. Negative and a positive is a negative 5m. A negative and a negative is a positive. So you end up with a positive 7. 2m squared, is there another m squared? Yep, 3m squared. Add those up, those equal 5m squared. That is a negative 8m. Is there another m? Yes, negative 5m. So that becomes negative 13m. Then we get the 2 plus the 7, which is a positive 9. That's it. So try the next two. Feel free to press pause. I'm just going to go ahead for video's sake. Nothing to distribute, so rewrite it over. Nothing to distribute, so rewrite it over without the parentheses. And combine what you can. I always like to start with my k-squares just because those are the bigger numbers, are the most obvious. Negative 4k squared plus 5k squared is a positive k squared. You have a k plus an 8k, which is a 9k. Then notice you have a 7 and a minus 7. Now 7 plus a negative 7, or 7 minus 7 is 0, so that means that you are left with k squared plus 9k. Nothing distributed in front of this polynomial, so I'm just going to rewrite it over. You have a negative distribute there, so you end up with a negative 4x squared plus 3x minus 4. Now it's time to combine like terms. 6x squared minus 4x squared is 2x squared. Negative 5x plus 3x is a negative 2x. And then that negative 4 is nothing to combine, so it just gets written over, and you are done. And that's it.